Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sam the SLB, and alongside me today is the man behind the Twitter, the other half of this operation, Victim Hand, Voice of Reason, the Nostradamus of professional wrestling, Scott. We are coming to you from above the ring, Ship It Studios, premier wrestling podcast, covering all things from AEW to WWE worldwide on Monday morning, Turner time, baby. Hey, Scott, how are we doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Sam. Another fantastic week of wrestling as we're getting mighty close to Double or Nothing, Sam. Almost time to be in Vegas.
We are getting very close. We'll be back already crying before you know it, that we wish we were still out in Vegas.
True.
In the nice weather. But before you get going, guys, don't forget to listen to Scott's Raw Review, NXT Narrative, and SmackDown Study that drop on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, respectively. Future changes to the show coming up. There have been a lot of things going on right now recently in regards to schedules. These will not happen until sometime after Double or Nothing. So keep your eye out. Might be throwing some polls out there for some suggestions, but some exciting things happening. But aside from that, I know you're getting to the point where this week is finals week. So a lot more time to watch wrestling, if you will.
It's very true. Yeah. After this upcoming week, I will be on summer vacation until the end of August. So I'll have my nights semi-free. Obviously, we still got the Raw Review, NXT Narrative, and SmackDown Study to do. But other than that, yes, I'll have some free time in the afternoon. So probably fill that with more wrestling because wrestling is life.
Yes, it is. What else do we got to do in our lives, Scott?
That's true.
We're gonna go through the calendar quickly. We're gonna talk about some things that have happened, which I think would be benefit. I think should come up in conversation. Excuse me, when we are talking about these wrestlers, specifically in AEW at this point. I want to jump back quickly to the 30th of April. AAA Triple Mania 30 in Monterey happens. We had, and I was surprised this didn't come up, because we had our obviously heel turn with Sammy and Ty. They've been in AAA for a bit now. They just won the mixed tag match, the mixed tag championships, which is something I think would have been great to kind of like throw in their faces on
Very
Dynamite.
True. Very true.
Maybe that's something where they don't want them going over or whatnot. I know.
Well,
I thought it was an
I know Tony Khan's not really big on intergender wrestling, so it would make sense to not have a mixed tag champs over there, because then people would start clamoring for them to defend the titles. And Tony's not a real big fan of that. So that does make sense why they wouldn't show up.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's a good assumption. I didn't even think about that. By the time this podcast is up, while we record it, WrestleMania Backlash will have happened in Providence, Rhode Island, 10 minutes from my house. Obviously, Scott will have the lowdown this week about what has happened, what has gone down. We were talking about going, but obviously with the Vegas trip, we wanted to kind of like, save our resources. I would have been cool to go see the Cody Seth rematch. That's pretty much the only reason I wanted to go. I don't know if there's any reason why you would have wanted to go besides that.
I mean, the Edge AJ Styles rematch does look pretty good too. I have my thoughts about that. I briefly discussed it on the SmackDown Study. I'll actually, again, before this drops, I will do a recap of the show. So that'll drop immediately after pay-per-view is over on Sunday night. So you'll get a double dose of Bedlam.
I love double doses of Bedlam. On the 13th, MLW is having their King of Coliseum event. On the 14th of May, we have New Japan Pro Wrestlers Capital Collision in Washington, D.C. Now, I want to bring up these New Japan cards that are coming up because I think they all might have repercussions going into A, Double or Nothing, and then B, the Forbidden Door. Where did you go? Capital Collision. The card at this moment is Tomohiro Ishii taking on Eddie Kingston. Oh, there we go. Boom. Brody King taking on Minoru Suzuki. Another one. Bullet Club, Jay White and Hikuleo taking on Chaos. Kazuchika Okada and Trent Beretta.
Ooh.
So getting close to home now, guys.
I know.
It's a storm coming in. Rain. A little bit of rain. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Will Ospreay, and Jon Moxley, a 4-way title match for the U.S. title.
Oof.
United Empire taking on TMDK. TMDK, what is that? That's not the Kingdom, is it? The Mighty Don't Kneel. I've never heard of them.
Really? They're together again? They're from Australia. They used to be TM61 when they were in NXT.
Yep. Okay, that's what I'm seeing now.
Oh
Okay.
shit!
Oh, with
That's
Jonah.
awesome that they reunited. Yeah, let's go.
And they'll be with Jonah.
Nice. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my god, that's perfect.
And Bad Dude Tito. So an 8-man tag team match. Great O'Con taking on Chase Owens. I forget Chase Owens is still wrestling over there. Rocky Romero, Yuya Umura, David Finley, Tongaloa, and Fred Rossier taking on Team Filthy. 10-man tag. And then Ren Narita taking on Carl Fredericks. So loaded card for Capital Collision next week. We will be I may have to get my New Japan account back just for this one because this card fascinates me for some reason. Actually, I want to jump back. 2 things. First and foremost, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla had their an event on the 1st in which Daniel Garcia won the PWG championship.
That's right. That's right.
So I think it's something that needs to be noted. I think this would have, again, we talk about things that they could have brought into the whole JAS is, hey, he's a sports entertainer with the PWG title, unless they're going the route where, hey, we're not going to count that because that's not a sports entertainment title.
That's valid point. That's true.
But I think it's something worth noting. And back on the 1st as well, I believe, we're wrestling Don Taco for New Japan in Fukuoka. I need to take Japanese. I don't think there's really a match here I want to talk about, but I do. The one thing I wanted to mention, let's see. It had to do with somebody, let's get through it. Juice Robinson said he was leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. It wasn't signed into the contract. And come to find out, he comes back and he joins the Bullet Club, which I'm going to tell you right now, if anybody who I did not expect joining the Bullet Club, it was Juice Robinson.
Right?
Yeah. I'm just shocked. I'm really shocked. Yeah, I'm. And then I know there's some things. Will Ospreay, I think, in here. Will is actually going to be GCW just announced a huge tour. I want to talk about that too while we're talking. They're hitting cities they've never gone to before.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, one of those cities is Providence, and I will not be here due to a wedding. And Will Ospreay will be there, and you're like, "Hey, should you go to that wedding?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yep.
Well, we're not even through half the calendar. We're not even through May. 29th, Double or Nothing. We will be there. Yep. June 5th. Yeah, June 5th is going to be Hell in a Cell. June 11th is NWA Always Ready. And then I think very important, which to me is probably the second most important pay-per-view for New Japan, is Dominion in Osaka Joe Hall. I think that's very important to point out because this is prior to the Forbidden Door. Okada versus Jay White. Jay White's been sneaking his face in AEW, so keep an eye out. Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens taking on the United Empire of Great O'Con and Jeff Cobb for the tag titles. Tama Tonga is taking on Carl Anderson for the Never Openweight title. And Shingo Takagi is taking on Taichi for the Provisional KOPW 2022 trophy at this moment. So, as exciting as Double or Nothing is coming, that's only like
it's the tip of the iceberg.
It's going to be a wild summer. I'm telling you, if you and I are not gluing our faces to the TV by All Out, I will be shocked.
Very true. Very true.
So a couple of announcements this week I want to talk about aside from the calendar. Stu Grayson, surprisingly enough, is one of the few people who did not resign with AEW. I know he hasn't been as active. He hasn't wrestled as much.
I think I saw somewhere he's had 13 matches on TV since he's originally signed, and that's criminally low.
So they weren't able to come up with a new deal. So he's, stepping away from the company. He had no bad blood to say. He's just like, I hope the Doc Carter does well. I hope the company does well. Da 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 da. Evil Uno came out and said, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I hope he does great things. So again, where he ends up, maybe he goes, to go to Japan. He could just go back to the Indies. He could sign with WWE. We don't know. It'll be interesting because him and Evil Uno came over as a tag team.
That's right.
And he's stepping away.
I believe they were called the Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Because they were they changed the name for obvious reasons. Copyright. Right. Impact recently lost the oh man, I was gonna say the Iconics, but that was their name in WWE.
Oh, the Inspiration.
The Inspiration has left. It sounds like that they're gonna leave to go do acting. Stepping away from the ring for a while. If I'm not mistaken, too, I think Jonah might have not renewed his short contract he had with Impact, which is fine. You need people to come in and out from time to time. Not everyone's gonna. There's only so much limited time. As much as you and I love talking about all these wrestlers, there's not enough time in the world for all of them to be on there.
It's true.
And the top ones have to stay. Tony Khan this week announced that the Ring of Honor acquisition has officially closed. I know when he made the announcement, like he was, I guess paperwork had been signed, but there were still final touches that needed to happen.
Right.
So now he's officially, the sale has been finalized. He's the official owner. This is probably for me the most anticipated thing of the year after Forbidden Door. I need to know what the hell happens.
Right.
Like what happens now? Okay, he signed, he owns them. What's the TV plan? What's going on? And I know what the.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to go into another whole different tangent, but what were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, I like how Tony Khan has been dealing with the ROH wrestlers, like the champions so far. Obviously, with Joe and everything for the TV title, it's good to have him on television. It's trying to create interest for their champions and for their particular wrestlers that are high up on. That's going to be high up on their card. You put them on the show for one match, maybe a couple segments, get some interest, and then once they get the television show, hopefully you'll pull those eyes over to the new show as well. That way they'll be able to follow both shows and be happy.
You're currently, yes, especially right now. I mean, again, like you said, Joe is a big one, but they're not just doing that; they're doing Jay Lethal, and so they're creating the feud with them. Like this is a really, I know a lot of people are not. If you're stuck on the mantle, the surface level of professional wrestling, if you will, if you only know what's going on in WWE, AEW, let's say Japan, I'll throw Japan out there, in Impact, Jay Lethal is super underrated at the moment. Yep. He is the face of Ring of Honor, and I'm very excited for this feud, and I'm glad that they're doing this way. I love how they keep bringing in, what's his name? Their announcer there, Bobby. Yes. Forgot his name. I got so excited when Ann Riccaboni came out and was on commentary. One of the best commentators. Him and Joey Styles are one of two they're both two commentators who can do solo commentary, and I love it. He's the voice to me. He's the voice of Ring of Honor.
Agreed.
They've been using Paul Turner as their ref, who was actually from Ring of Honor before he signed with. I'm waiting for Todd to come back. That was one I've always, he's like the OG Ring of Honor.
True.
Ref.
Yeah. Hopefully when they get the television show that he'll come back. Yeah. I also, now that I know we'll talk about this when we get to Dynamite. But now we have our undisputed women's champions. So now we can start building up that women's division in ROH, which was always desperately in need of revamp. I know Maria did a great job when she was there. Obviously, now she's creating her own women's wrestling league. So, yeah, there's some exciting times, and I'm in the same boat as you. I want to know what the hell they're going to end up doing with this new show.
Yeah, especially right now with the Warner Brothers Discovery merger, which it sounds like, I know a lot of people were concerned. Some people were like, "Oh, we can break this down a little bit." People are concerned that they are going to cut AEW, which in turn they're like, "Oh, WWE is going to purchase them, and that's it, and there's going to be no more, no, they're going to be on top again." Blah 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 blah. There's a lot of things here. and I was reading something from Meltzer, and I was reading a bunch of different things. First and foremost, what needs to be remembered was Time Warner owned WCW.
Yep.
First and foremost. Tony Khan owns AEW.
Correct.
The only thing that I see happening if Warner goes, we don't want to carry them anymore, is Tony has to find a new TV deal.
Yep.
Which at this point, I don't think would be that difficult.
Probably not. Actually, well, yeah, that's true. I'd say, oh, you just shift to the other channel, but they're both owned by the same people, so that wouldn't matter. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Tony probably wouldn't have too much difficulty finding a big TV brand to go with.
Mm-hmm. Who's not gonna want to carry him? Wrestling's pretty popular right now.
It's true. It's healthy. Yeah, definitely. As Cody Rhodes would say in his latest interview with Stone Cold, which I have to go back to see in its entirety. Professional wrestling and sports entertainment is healthy right now, but it needs to. I feel like we're on the road for it to being much healthier. So hopefully,
yes. So I think there's opportunities there for them to get on and I don't know what kind of deals they'd have to get because obviously WWE has their deal with NBC. Mm-hmm. Is that who owns USA?
Yes.
Yeah, NBC and Fox. So the only other channel I can think of that they could go to, if you want to talk about cable or network, would be like CBS. I don't know who owns CBS. CBS, or you'd have to go to like FX or
yeah.
We could talk about this all day. But anyways, so I'm not concerned so much. And now with Ring of Honor, he owns 2 companies.
Yep.
And there's a lot of growth here. If the Bucks proved anything, they were worth more than anyone in WWE when they were doing Ring of Honor.
True.
They could be, even if they didn't get like a big TV deal, which I think really helps them, honestly. I think they'd be able to make that company profitable if they went, with especially Ring of Honor, where they were doing like hey, we're going to do like these pay-per-view tours, or we're going to do like these 4 shows, 4 cities, always sold out. The crowds were always active. It was great. Very personable. I think it's doable, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Ring of Honor, super excited to see where it goes. Speaking of which, it sounds like we might have more competition coming up. It's 2 things, 2 companies. Actually, we'll start by saying this one. So Authors of Pain said they were returning to the wrestling ring. I'm like, oh, they're going to re-sign with WWE, which again, this was one of those teams where they were incredible. Let me tell you, you want to talk about tag team divisions and AEW bringing tag team wrestling back. Prior to AEW, yes, Ring of Honor had a pretty good tag team division, and New Japan had a pretty good tag team division. Fucking NXT was on fire.
Beautiful.
Authors of Pain, Sanity, DIY, The Revival. Like, what was the takeover we saw? It was the three-way between DIY,
The Revival and AOP. Yes, that match was absolutely batshit crazy.
A banger. And then all these teams, like, except for me, well, the Revival never. They're only starting to weasel their way up. No, I don't want to say weasel, but Ciampa is finally on the main roster, as a solo wrestler. Yep. And then the Revival, they were there and they did win titles, but they kind of squallered because whatever reason. But this was the team. This one felt like they had an old school. Okay, FTR had that old school Southern tag team feel.
Yes.
They had this Legion of Doom. Fucking who's the other big one there from the 80s, 90s?
Oh God, I just had it in my head. Demolition.
Like they had that feel to me. Like they were just the monster tag team.
Yeah. They had a massive amount of potential, and when Ellering was their manager, they were unstoppable. And then once they moved them up to the main roster, Ellering didn't want to travel with them, so they dropped him. And then after that, it was just like, well, we're screwed here.
Mm-hmm.
So, they did have more potential though when they teamed up with Seth Rollins. And I was just like, oh, here we go. Okay, this could be good. A lot of people also figured that Samoa Joe would be a great manager for the two of them. There was so much potential for these guys, but just nothing came of it. And then I believe there were injuries involved towards the end, and then they both just got released.
Yeah. And these guys, I'm looking at this. Fightful Select reported this week that Akam and Razar reached out to two wrestlers in regards to an event being planned for Dubai this June. They will both handle the promotion for the show and will wrestle. So I'm really curious. It's called Wrestling Entertainment Series. It's coming to the point. I just need a network. I need a straight network where I can see everything. Like honestly, wrestling top to bottom. Like give me ESPN5 wrestling or something. There's a lot of good wrestling out there. I don't get to watch it all. If there was a channel I can just be after work, be like, hey, I'm going to throw this on. Oh, look, it's Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, or it's WES, or it's Control Your Narrative. Which that's another one we haven't even seen anything about. Like they're doing tapings, but I don't know.
Yeah, that, and there's a lot of controversy around them right now too, and it's just, I don't know, that they need some good PR to really drive people to go pay attention, because right now they're getting attention for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So aside from that, another promotion has just been announced. Again, wrestling is on fire right now. And the fans will pick which companies they want to go to, this and that, and Freddie Prinze Jr., who again, keep forgetting he wrote for WWE forever.
Yeah.
He's looking about launching a California-based promotion. He wants to launch within the next 18 months, but he doesn't plan on having a television deal when it launches. Mm-hmm. He's saying that financing for the promotion should allow him to have a 3-year run, meaning he doesn't expect to make money within that time frame. He wants to find a location in Los Angeles that can call his full-time home, shoot episodes, produce a 2-hour show. So it looks like this is interesting though. His mission statement is for the company to have reality-based storylines, equal time allotted to male and female talent, and to allow all his talent to become members of the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. So unionizing them.
Nice.
So curious. Again, I'm always on board to see what other companies do.
Right.
I mean, WWE is top of the mountain. AEW is the mountain that's growing.
Yep.
New Japan, like there's so much right now. It's so, again, it's healthy. It's so exciting. Will it be successful? Who knows? Maybe it's not. Maybe fucking Tony Khan starts buying up promotions.
Yeah, it's true. Starts turning into what Vince was in the 80s and 90s.
But before we get into this week's the week's content, Scott, I heard you were in up in northern Vermont this weekend.
I was just on Saturday. My good friends over at ETWA had themselves yet another wonderful show. It's called the Green Mountain Classic, where they crowned their brand new ETWA heavyweight champion. A really good card. I believe there were 8 matches. I'm actually going to be doing a write-up once again, and that will be in the local paper up in Newport, Vermont. So that'll be a lot of fun. I love going to these shows. Unfortunately, their next actual show is not until September. They have another small thing in August, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to that. But I'm excited. This has been some quality entertainment, and yeah, I just I love it. It's nice to be able to go out and just go watch some good wrestling live, because being in northern Vermont, I don't get a lot of chances to go to Boston or other places in New York or Maine, or so it's nice to have something close to home.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I want to go back, and again, between my house being on the market now and trying to sell, I want to go back to some indie stuff. The one went chaotic. I had a lot of fun. GCW is going to be in FET Music Hall in Providence. Again, that's like 10. I don't think people realize how small the state is. I'm on the North Providence line. Not even 10 minutes. It takes me not even 10 minutes to get to the other side of the city. 1,200 square miles this whole state is. So Providence is like small. So FET is literally, again, 10 minutes from my house. It would have been cool. very small. It's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so let's talk about this before we get into AEW. I want to talk about Under Siege. Not because we didn't get to watch it. Unfortunately, you and I have been busy.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. The event featured wrestlers from New Japan and AAA. We'll go through this card quickly, but then we want to talk about some things that I know you saw and I saw that we want to bring up. So, pre-shows. Heath and Rhino defeated Raj Singh and Shira. Rich Swann defeated Laredo Kid and Mike Bailey in a three-way. The main card, Giselle Shaw defeated Madison Rain. Chris Sabin defeated Steve Macklin. Taya Valkyrie came back.
Yep.
And defeated Deonna Purrazzo to retain the AAA women's title. Ace Austin defeated Trey Miguel to retain the X Division title. Honor No More defeated Bullet Club. Which actually, now I look at this card, I was just reading with Impact. I know we were talking about this last week. Gallows and Anderson, their contract with Impact sounds like it's going to be up soon.
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's maybe early this summer, maybe.
The thing is, I don't know. They, on both shows, when they were on AEW, when they were on Impact, they've been great. Like, they're one of my I've always loved them.
Yeah. They've always been really good.
So I don't know where they're going to go. Yeah, Jay White was in that. Jay White really likes sitting in the American scene right now.
Yeah.
Tasha Steele defeated Havoc to retain the Knockouts title.
Mm-hmm.
The Briscoes defeated Violent by Design to become your Impact World Tag Team Champions. Those guys always need to have a fucking belt on them.
It's true.
Not that they don't need a belt, but they look dirty when they have a belt. You're just like, this makes sense.
Yep.
Like, they look like the dirtiest players in the game, but they're also some of the best talent.
Yeah.
In tag team. When they retire, they will not be in the WWE Hall of Fame, obviously, but any wrestling Hall of Fame out there,
right.
Any of them, they need to be a part of. And finally, Josh Alexander defeated Tomohiro Ishii to retain the Impact World title. So, couple things that happened, and I don't know in which order, but we're going to bring it up. Gail Kim. Now, Mia Yim. Why did I mix that name up so bad?
I was like, Gail Kim. I'm like, what did she do?
Mia Yim.
I read everything before you came on. I'm like, wait, I didn't see Gail Kim's name anywhere.
No, Mia Yim made her return to Impact. Former Knockouts champion. Super excited to see what happens there.
She came back after the Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo match, because Deonna tried to attack Taya after the match was over, and Mia came out, made the save, and tried to attack Deonna. So it looks like she's right back in and directly into a main event title feud. Well, not title feud, but main event feud with Deonna Purrazzo. So if you're going to make a re-debut in Impact, that's the perfect way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
talk about, we talk about it all the time, but talk about somebody who could have been. She has star power.
Oh, yes.
She was there. She was there on NXT.
Yeah.
I'm so excited she's back at Impact. But also, one of our other favorite wrestlers returned on Impact. It was the draw himself, Sami Callihan.
The Death Machine has returned. Attacking Moose. It's just, obviously it's perfect because Moose was the one that put him out in the first place. But Sammy's got a brand new theme song. He's got a brand new, just everything's new except his badassery. So I'm very excited to see what he does, taking out Moose. And then I'm 100% sure that Josh Alexander's on that list as well. So Sammy's coming for that title.
I don't know if we've ever seen them wrestle one-on-one outside, maybe tag team.
Maybe that's
maybe
a good
via
question.
Against the North. So Josh Alexander, Sami Callihan, guys, consider me. I'm gonna say it, but what's gonna happen. I'm gonna say I'm back on the Impact train, and I'm not gonna be able to watch it. Maybe I'll have to start throwing my laptop on while I work and just kind of have it in the background, kind of keep an eye on it. But no, Impact again is on fire. If you guys don't watch it, I know Steven, I'm calling you out, buddy. He's been nagging us to watch Impact.
I know for months. He's been like, guys, it's like $1 a month, so $5 a month. I'm just like, I know, but I don't have. It's not the money. It's the time.
It's the time. It is the time. If we look, this is what I'm gonna say. Scott and I already tweet the big things.
Yep.
Everything WWE and then AEW. If we hop back on this Impact train, Scott, it's gonna be safe to say that I don't even think you and I are gonna have the time to tweet it. It will not be, because I got it on my Sling account. It always DVRs.
Yep.
I do not see me having the time to watch on a Thursday, because generally Thursdays, schedule wise, that's the night that's my girlfriend's Friday, so that's the time we spend together. Right. Just to clarify, guys. But I have no problems watching it again. I really want to get back on it. Like Impact again. You and I have been talking about this back and forth since you and I started getting back into Impact.
Yep.
Impact feels a lot like Ring of Honor at times.
It does. And now conveniently with Honor No More being there, it really feels like ROH more than.
So let's jump ship quickly. Let's get to the main part of our show. Like we always talk about, when we talk about this week's Dynamite and Rampage. We're going to kick with Dynamite. Owen Hart qualifier match. Jeff Hardy taking on Bobby Fish. The first time these two have ever wrestled, I believe.
Which is insane, if you think about it.
What fucked me up even more. So Jeff Hardy has been wrestling since the mid-early 90s for WWE.
Yep.
Him and his brother were in just enhancement talent.
Yep.
I think Jeff lied about his age to, where he was like actually wrestling at 17, I think.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I could be wrong on that, but I swear he's, said that before. It's like, I got to lie so I can get into the ring. But Bobby Fish is actually like, what, it's 9 months older than he is?
Yes. Which blows my mind too. Because Bobby Fish looks, obviously a little older, but I didn't think he was older than Jeff by almost a year. I was like, what?
What blows my mind is 30 years ago, had you had two 40-year-old plus wrestlers in the ring, this would have probably been like, like a throwaway old elderly, they would have just looked old. 40 is like the new 25.
It's true. And I'm going to kind of pivot back to a thing I said a little earlier. I need to go back and watch this Cody Rhodes interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Cody said a wrestler's prime is 35 to 42. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of wrestlers are going into their 40s nowadays. So I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So to see these talents still being able to put it 100% when they're in their 40s, it's like, all right, here we go.
Mm-hmm. And this was great. I love this. This was a fun match. This was like a dream match. I think Bobby got the win here.
No, Jeff got the win.
Jeff actually got the win. Yes. Yep. Yeah. This is when you got to go back and watch. Just really again, like you and I do, we tweet, so we miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this one, it was great. It was great. And kind of like what you said, people going into their 40s and still putting on bank. I mean, look at AJ Styles.
Right. No, this man is still at the top of his game.
Look at AJ, or you look at,
even Edge after coming back from his injury. I mean, he's been phenomenal. Well, no pun intended, but since his match, since he's come back. So,
and you have some of them trickling into their 50s, like Dustin or Jericho, if I'm not mistaken.
Jericho's in his. Oh wait, I thought he was in his upper 40s, but no, maybe.
What was it? Chris Jericho. I know he's old. I could be wrong.
I know he's old. I know if we're talking about 40s and lower 50s being old. My God.
He's 51.
Wow.
So he's 51 and he still looks great.
Yeah.
It's that statement. What the hell? One of my favorite memes out there, where somebody's like, Paul Rudd is now older than Wilford Brimley was when he was in Cocoon.
Oh, geez.
I know Joe Rogan talks about in his podcast, all that's not, he said on an episode, he goes, remember people in their 50s when we were younger? They were old. 50 was old. You were like dead. You were practically dead. Now we're looking into our 50s and 60s, and people are like,
they look
fully
like they're
functional,
in their 30s and 40s. Yeah.
You're like, dude, by the time you and I, hit that point, geez, we could be going into our 80s and being fully functioning human beings.
If I make it that long.
It will be like
I don't know if I want to live that long. That's a long time.
So following that, we had Blackpool Combat Club taking on Butcher Blade and Helico. Interestingly enough, and Helico actually, I think, is still under contract. Jack Evans
is no longer correct. Yep.
But this was good.
One that kind of disappeared.
They're really pushing Blackpool Combat Club. I'm wondering where they're going with this for Double or Nothing, because we don't really have. I don't think we really have a feud with them yet. They're just the dominant faction at the moment.
Yeah, they're just kind of just beating the snot out of people for now, and I think that's perfectly fine. I'm hearing, now this is just rumor, that the trios titles have been created. They're done, ready to go, but Tony Khan, I guess, is waiting for Kenny Omega to come back. So I'm like, wait, so we're gonna wait another 7 months before we see these trios titles? There are so many trios teams that are already out there. Just drop it. Kenny doesn't have to be the first champion. Just drop the damn titles. Let somebody run with it.
I'm wondering if he wants to do that because, I know the Bucks had their the tag titles, and he did have the championship, but they all, I believe, at one point had the 6-man tags back in Ring of Honor.
Yes, ROH had their own trios titles as well, or
they
call them 6-man or whatever. But yeah, we need a trios title here. I think it would be a lot of fun.
I think I'd be wondering. Ring of Honor. I just asked myself, I'm like, is that because that's like, I think New Japan had 6-man tags, unless Correct. I'm thinking of the Ring of Honor ones that were always like defended.
Well, yeah, no, Ring of Honor did have them. I do remember that floating around, but I don't know how
they're still active.
They are still active. Okay. Who are the current champs?
It's the Righteous, Bateman, Dutch, and Vincent.
Oh.
So, man. Something magical about 6-man tags. I don't know what it is. Like,
if it's done correctly, yeah, it could be a whole lot of fun. It's just I don't know. I like championships that are defended and not just kind of there for show. US title and in a continental championship. I'm sorry. I just I just want titles to be defended.
Same. We're gonna jump back a week where I believe Wardlow defeated Lance Archer.
Yes,
Lance Archer, and MJF said he had a mystery opponent. That he's 7 foot tall and you can't teach that. And man, I had no idea who he was talking about for a whole week. The wrestling world was just shocked to find out that W. Morrissey walked out on Wednesday. Now, I really want to talk about this. First of all, Wardlow, W. Morrissey did the job, but they still made him look like the monster character he is. He looked great. Again, when he came back to, when he came to Impact, it was awesome. It was cool. We had the "we want Enzo, no, we don't" chants going on.
I was dying. I mean, honestly, as much as people hate Enzo, the man knows how to talk, and I was always thoroughly entertained when he was on the mic.
I think that would have worked better had they not been a tag team and he been his manager.
True. No, that's very true. Yeah. Because
I love Enzo. To me, like, is one of the best mic talkers that WWE produced in the past 10 years.
Yep.
Top 10 for me. But when he would get in the ring, it was like, okay, now I'm watching. No. I need something. Dude, this should have been a manager wrestler relationship. But no, this was really good. Obviously now we got MJF like, you're gonna sign, we're gonna have a contract signing this coming week
in Long Island of all places.
Yeah, the most magical place on earth.
Correct.
MJF.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that because we all know he didn't say it, but we all know what they're signing for.
Oh my God.
At this point. And I love the build up because I was waiting for him to say it, but he never said what they were signing for.
Yep.
So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But I also want to make note. This is something, and I've seen a lot of comments, and I'm like thinking to myself, after that match with W. Morrissey and Wardlow, WWE said that somebody backstage in WWE said they were very impressed with W. Morrissey. So could he go back to that company and wrestle? Maybe. This is the W. Morrissey I would love to see. Like, if he was to go back, you need to keep him as W. Morrissey.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if they would. They'd probably throw him back as Big Cass.
Well, okay. You want to call him Big Cass, that's fine. But this is the guy I want to see in the ring at WWE.
I agree. 100% I agree with you. But you know how their WWE is. They don't like to bring people back and not use their previous gimmick. It's unfortunate because I can take WB Morrissey as WB, not WB Mason, W Morrissey. I can take him as a legitimate heel threat. Mm-hmm. Big Cass, or an unfortunate placement of his big hand, big ass. I can't take him seriously as a heel, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was kind of like when they watched the FTR Bucks match and WWE's like, oh, wow, we're impressed. And I saw that comment. I think it was on What Culture. If I knew who commented on it, it was the greatest thing. Where, like, it was somebody who put in quotations, yeah, they looked incredible. We wanted them in clown costumes before, but now we really need to see them dressed up as clowns now.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I know what you're talking. Yes, I think I
sent that to you. It was incredible, but I think very few people are going to get the Cody Rhodes treatment. That's what you're kind of talking about. Very few people are going to be able to show up as Cody Rhodes, as AJ Styles,
right?
And be able to continue their character, continue who they are.
Right.
Had the Elite gone over, that was the rumored contract. In 2019, they would have had the almost like full control, character control, creative control till Mania for like 6 months. And if they didn't like the contract, they could have booked it afterwards.
Right.
Would have that lasted? I don't think so.
No, because they wouldn't be able to do everything that they do. The majority of the Bucks move set wouldn't be allowed in WWE. So,
oh yeah, they would have booked it. But yeah, it was good. Another reason, again, I want to get back into Impact, because of Morrissey. He's great. He's been doing wonderful things. Following that, we had the Hangman Page promo, which Hangman Page always throws good promo, but this was really good. But also, like, there's some jabs at CM Punk there.
Our Hangman's turning a little heelish here, and I was very happy because I was thinking, I'm like, who's going to be the heel in this? Because you really can't go babyface versus babyface going into this because I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a reason for one of them to hate the other, and I'm glad that it's Hangman that actually pulled the trigger to be more of a heel here.
I don't think it would have. CM Punk I think CM Punk got some boos one particular match he had so far since September. And he did it. I don't know if he went after the city or a certain wrestler that people liked, but he was able to, he knew what to do and say to make sure he was the bad guy here.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, and everyone loves Hangman, but I don't know, could Punk have done it? I think Punk could have done something to get the heat, but I think here Punk's going to have to be the heat, the face here. I think Hangman will retain, but I think this heel bit, I think this heel bit might go over into like him getting a little too cocky, leading to his title loss.
I'm going to talk picks before the pick show, but that's fine. See, I disagree. I think they're setting something up here. I think Punk will win the title, and then this will cause Hangman to go full heel.
Ooh. And then what? Punk loses to MJF?
Yes. Because MJF is the next heel champion. It's gonna happen. The only other thing I could see is if Hangman does retain, Wardlow's next. Wardlow may be next anyways. Oh God. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, it's booking time.
Let's go.
Okay. So we'll say either or, Punk or Hangman wins the title. Yep. Wardlow will be next. Wardlow wins the title. MJF takes the title off Wardlow. Like, we could be talking like a year down the road, because obviously after MJF gets destroyed by Wardlow at Double or Nothing, I think MJF might actually maybe take a vacation, kind of go away for a little while. Wardlow will then run his way up the chart, take on the champion, maybe Revolution, maybe All Out, wins the title. Wardlow has a nice run. Here comes MJF. Just blows his way through the contenders. We could be looking at Double or Nothing next year. I mean, this may be too far out, but MJF and Wardlow, and then MJF wins the title. And then that's right before the great war of 2024, or the great bidding war, right before MJF might disappear and go to WWE. Long-term booking, folks. Long-term booking.
Interesting. I would have seen it the other way, where MJF gets the title and then Wardlow takes it from him.
But that would, I mean, yes, I can definitely see that as well. But if Wardlow's going to go over on MJF, because he's going to, Wardlow would easily be right up there in the top 5 immediately, and then would challenge for the title.
Interesting.
See, I like this. I like see our brains are different, but we're in the same universe when it comes to it. So it's
if we're gonna agree on anything in this conversation, I think most importantly, MJF and Wardlow are going to be champions back to back, one way or another.
Yes, I agree. I hate to say that that Punk would be a transitional champion, or that Heyman would get destroyed by one or the other, but I think it's going to happen.
So I'm looking. I'm going to say right now, I'm looking here on the championship list. We have had 4 champions.
Yep.
As of today, Hangman Page is 175 days as champion. Chris Jericho is 182. So by the time we get to Double or Nothing, he would have surpassed the time Chris Jericho has had it. So I think it's about time that the title
changes hands. Yeah. I can't believe that's wow. I didn't think Jericho's reign was that short. Wow.
Mm-hmm. All Out to Revolution.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, remember when it All Out in September, Revolution, John Moxley came in and took him out.
Right.
And that was almost, was it 200? I'm literally looking at the numbers. So that was 277 days. And obviously Kenny on Winners Come and won it in the fucking steal of the century.
Right. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I miss Don Callis.
I love how he kind of showed up at, what was it, Revolution?
Yes.
We need more Don. We just need more Don. He's just, I want to see, you want to talk fantasy booking, like maybe will never happen in our lifetimes. I want to see Don Callis and Paul Heyman shoot on each other. For me, Paul Heyman is one of the greatest managers that's ever lived. He's one of the best talkers there are. He's a madman. And Don Callis actually, if I'm not mistaken, started in ECW. Don Callis has become a fucking monster. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love Dan Lambert on the mic. He just has some heat, but Don Callis.
Don can keep it going. I think Dan
Yeah.
has a shelf life on how long he can kind of make things going before it's too cringy.
Yep.
But Don can keep going. Here's a tag team for you. MJF and Don Callis versus Paul Heyman and L.A. Knight.
Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. That would be incredible.
What a promo off that would be.
I haven't watched that in so long either. NXT. I'm like, I forgot. Oh, LA Knight, Eli Drake. He's another one great on the mic.
Yep.
You know why I haven't watched it? Because I'm a dummy. Dummy. Yeah. So following that, we had a grudge match. Santana taking on Chris Jericho. With, I believe, Chris Jericho getting the win here. I love the beginning of their intro where you have what's his name. Jericho Association Society has been, the prime standard for the past 15 weeks in all elite wrestling television. I'm just like, this is incredible. Like the level of
you know where that comes from, right?
No.
WWF back in the day when they would have their intro, you know how it's the then, now, and forever. But before there used to be something like the World Wrestling Federation for 15 years, the leading, whatever, blah, 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 in sports entertainment. So the moment I first heard that, I oh my God, I almost had a fit because I was like, oh, they're fully embracing the sports entertainment aspect of this. And it's so good. I'll have to find a video of it and send it to you. But yeah, it's obviously it's not word for word, but it's pretty damn close. And it's great.
It's hysterical. Again, this was a good match. Santana and Ortiz, one of the tag teams that needs those titles. They need to have those titles on them. Santana got the shit kicked out of him. I think Ortiz came out, he got the shit kicked out of him. What's interesting here is we're talking about a 5-on-3. Something's got to give. There's no way this is going to be a 5-on-3. It hasn't happened. It could happen.
Or there could be more people that show up for Eddie. We could also probably get Eddie versus Jericho at Double or Nothing, which I would be all for watching.
Get the rematch.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Well, they keep it on commentary. They keep pushing the idea it's 5-on-3. They're not going to be able to beat them. So that, for me, almost convinces me somebody's getting involved. I just don't know who else they've had beef with. I can't think of anybody right now.
Or it could be Eddie could make a phone call. Remember, there's 2 members of LAX in that 3 group, in that that threesome. There are other members of LAX.
I know, and that's what I've been thinking. But aside from the LAX members, I'm trying to think if they decide not to bring somebody else from LAX in, who it could be on the current roster.
I don't know.
So I'm curious. This is one of those storylines I don't know where it's going. And
that's exciting. And that's exciting. That doesn't really happen too often anymore. You kind of have an idea of where this is going to go at some point, but with this, it's like, I don't know.
Well, we're going to go right into the next match. Varsity Blondes had called out the House of Black. And House of Black comes out and they attack, Griff and Pillman, and they get Griff on the ground in the middle of the ring and they give Julia Hart the chair. We almost got the turn, guys. We almost got the turn from Julia Hart. And she didn't, and Malachi yelled at her, screamed at her. So this could be one of those things where maybe she never actually joins, and maybe this is something where it's going to get teased, and she realized her actual loyalty belongs to the Blondes, or maybe it takes time for her to turn.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but the more often, because I obviously haven't been able to watch Darker Elevation, but her eye makeup has been getting darker and darker and darker and darker, kind of like what happened with Malachi. And now she's got the full side face black. And I'm like, this has been the longest storytelling with a character trying to, I don't know if to turn that I've ever seen. And this past Wednesday, I was like, we're finally gonna get it. This is great. And then all of a sudden she stops herself at the last minute. And then I was like, all right, well, now this more character development. What's gonna happen next week with this? Because you would think there'd be some type of conversation between the varsity blondes to be like, what the hell's going on? Why did you almost attack me?
Yeah. So I'm really curious on where this goes. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something at Double or Nothing. I think they need to build the story. They need to take the story out from the Dark Elevation and start bringing it on to Dynamite and Rampage more.
Yep.
But Death Triangle came out and saved them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
Thought this was weird. A weird segue, because I don't know if you know, I didn't even think that the match was happening. I totally forgot about this, because this happens. They chase him out, but then we go right into the Owen Hart match.
Yep.
With I think them still in the ring.
Yeah, Ray Phoenix and what, Dante Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Darius, from what I've read, it wasn't another car accident, a severe car accident. He's out for another 9 months, which sucks because Top Flight is top tier.
Yep.
But Dante is an incredible soul. This was a dream match. This was a pay-per-view level match.
It was a lot of fun, yeah. Like doing flips off the top rope, landing on their feet. It's like, come on, guys. Just stop showing off.
This one was tough. I didn't know. I wanted either or of them to win.
Yeah, either one would have been fine.
It would have been great. If we want to fantasy book this before we go into the because now we have all the contenders picked.
We have the
but there's a Joker.
Yes, for both, which
I didn't think they were gonna. That explains why they were like cutting this so close.
Right. Let's
do this now. This can be a side thing. And again, this is going to be decided at the pay-per-view, but I want to call my pick now for the men's because I'm cocky like that. Actually, in the women's too. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do a quick one, if you will. Who wins the men's Owen Hart Cup?
Who's in the brackets? I don't remember off the top of my head.
You want me to just blurt mine out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell you right now, there's only one man who I think would be beneficial in winning this.
Okay.
And it would boost his fucking ego to the ceiling. Adam Cole, baby.
You see, I do agree with that, but I think his first round opponent might have something to say about it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would not be surprised if Adam Cole loses in the first round.
Interesting. I mean, anything can happen. Like,
I know.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone in this card, I will not be upset if they win.
That's true.
But who the hell's the Joker? That's the thing. I've heard names from everywhere. My personal favorite, and I would love to see this, would be Claudio. You get the Swiss man in there. I think that would be great. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But
my concern with that is because Samoa Joe just joined. And if he was going to come over, that would be awesome, but I wouldn't want to see him coming on an L because that man deserves like upper mid card status.
No, I agree, but you also have familiarity between the two because they've wrestled each other for forever when it comes to WWE. Okay. So that would be a great. And even so, if Claudio comes in and he does lose, you still could have a 40-minute banger, and then have Joe go over. Or how I think this might actually happen is if Claudio is the one that comes in to challenge Samoa Joe. Joe can lose, but it would have to be because of what's going on with Jay Lethal.
Yep.
One of them would have to cause him to lose the match.
Okay. Interesting. I know I'm all about it. We're actually going to see what happens on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we have a couple of matches for each, or at least two of the men's. But for the women's, I don't know. I think I'm trying to look, and I don't know on this one either. It's either going to be Tony Storm or Red Velvet.
That's a definitely a good option. Honestly, I'm most interested to see who the Joker is against Britt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of surprised that Britt Baker is the one that drew that short straw, because it's probably going to be somebody big, and they're gonna beat Britt. So,
or let's hypothetically look at this, Scott. Maybe Tony Storm doesn't win, because whoever wins the Joker Dr. Britt Baker match has to wrestle Tony Storm or JD Hater. What if it's Hater and Britt Baker? And what if that's the crack in the foundation?
Nah, finger poke of doom will happen.
I figured we talk about that because I want to.
You're
we're
right.
starting this, and I want to be like, I want to see in a month how right we were.
It's true. No, I mean, I believe you're correct, because if Britt does win her match and then Jamie somehow beats Tony Storm, I guarantee you Britt's gonna be like, well, just lay down, let me go to the finals. And Jamie's gonna be like, no, I don't think so. So I think you're right. If anything, this will be the beginning of a crack in that foundation.
It'll be a good one. It'll be. Can't wait. I'm looking for this tournament's gonna.
I love tournaments. You know that. So I'm excited.
And factions.
That's right. And factions.
So finally, the main event here. Interesting one. This one. Deonna Purrazzo, Mercedes Martinez for the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest problem with this. Okay, match was great. Deonna's always great. Mercedes is always great. The biggest problem with this match is they did not advertise this match as they should have.
No, they like briefly brought it up last Wednesday, and they really didn't push it. Number one, number two, I didn't like how short it was. I was hoping they'd get more time. And I'm not surprised that Deonna lost, but part of me is still surprised that Deonna lost.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she's technically still an Impact talent.
True.
So I can see that. Will she have a title on her again soon? Probably. She's the virtuosa. She's incredible. She's great.
It's weird not seeing her with any titles
at
all. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's more reason for us to watch Impact in the time we don't have.
I know.
But because they didn't advertise it, the crowd was dead.
They really were. That was really upsetting. I didn't like that. Yeah, that's very true too.
Like this was a great match. This was again, you and I, we've been on Deonna's train since she joined. Like, she just is one of the best, probably my top 5 female wrestlers currently active.
Yep.
So, but it was great, guys. If you have not watched this, watch this. Tell us what you think. Looking forward to it. Seeing what happens. But let's talk about Rampage. Interesting things on Rampage. Tony Storm, Ruby Soho taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. With Storm getting the pin on DMD.
Yeah,
the Doctor.
Britt eating the pin was very, very surprising. Also, I don't want people to sleep on Ruby Soho either. I know she hasn't been on television lately, but she can make a little bit of a run here too.
She's I could see her slowly moving up the card. I could see her getting to the final, or semifinal, quarterfinals. Again, these two cards, they really picked them out. This is one of those where I'm not going to be upset whoever wins this. I don't have a favorite of who I want to win.
Right.
I pick Adam Cole as my choice of who I think will win. Not because I want him to, but I think he will. Everyone else, I would be happy. And they can do anything with this. I don't even know. Is there a stipulation to if they win the cup?
I think you just win the cup. I think it's just going to be a yearly event to win the cup, I think. Should there be? Yes. I think whoever wins should get a shot at a title of their choosing. Kind of like be their Money in the Bank type of thing, except in tournament form instead of a ladder match.
Or maybe they should maybe just get a title shot at the top title.
Yeah.
A title they're choosing, sure. But like you've just won the Owen Hart Cup. Give it some prestige,
Valid
you get
point.
a title shot with the world champion.
All right.
Not your not the TNT or the TBS champion. That's what I think. If you want to give it a little more prestige, a little more you know what I'm saying. I don't have to.
No, fair enough. No, that's fine. I was just giving people more outs if they want to go for other titles, but no, that makes a lot of sense.
And maybe they are. Maybe somebody would prefer to go after so and so with the TNT or the TBS title at that point. Also, this is at 5:30. I'm going to tell you right now. I stop clock out of work at 5. I work from home, so I'm just like, cool. I got my night is mine.
Yep.
I'm not upset.
And again, this week I believe it starts at 6.
That's because keep in mind, guys, and I know everyone's gonna be like, well, I've seen a couple of it. Actually, you sent me something I don't want to say I ignored, but I didn't notice it till this morning when I was looking through. I'm like, fuck, how did I miss that one? Because I forget. Sometimes we'll be like talking all the time on Snapchat, but then we'll be talking all the time on Instagram, or we'll be talking all the time on like we're not consistent.
No, we're everywhere.
So one of the things that was brought up was the ratings on Dynamite this week, and obviously the reason why this is 5:30 is because we're going through the NHL and the NBA playoffs right now.
Yep.
Both are on fire. Both, a lot going on. We're in the conference semis for the NBA in the first round for the Stanley Cup. Excuse me. The fucking now I'm pulling it up just to kind of like look who played that. Dude, the fucking Celtics blew it again by 2.
I know. I saw that.
Oh my God. At least I'm hoping, and I know I'm getting off point here because I was talking about ratings and whatnot. And I'm pretty much saying nobody should be concerned during this time of year about ratings because the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs are always going to be king. But oh my God. Just like the fucking Bruins lost like 5-1, 5-2 the first 2 games. I'm like, they're great during the season. The moment they hit the fucking playoff, they tank.
Well, they did win game 3 to get the momentum hopefully coming back on their side, but they're at home. So if they win game 4, then, it's 2-2 going back to Carolina. So
Yeah. Where are we at? Is that today? I think that's today.
I think so. Yeah.
12:30. Yeah. 12:30. Wow. We're totally getting off track. But it was great. 5:30 was wonderful. Got out, finished at 6:30, was able to walk away. I know you had prior engagements, so you couldn't watch it live.
True.
By the time you guys watch this, I hope all of you have seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
My God.
So good. But following that, we had Hook taking on JD Drake. Actually, it was before that, Tony Nese came out with Mark Sterling.
I love this pairing. I think it's exactly what Tony Nese needed.
So it's interesting. It really fascinates me. It's taken me years to really understand the necessity of a manager. I understand it. They're good for a voice. They're good to kind of like help give somebody momentum. This here for me was the final piece, which made sense. Mark Sterling is now a name in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like with what he's done with Jade, he's part of the Mark Sterling brand. This is, when you're part of that brand, you're going to have a name. You're going to move, you're going to move up. You don't just, he's a good voice and whatnot. Tony Nese is a good talker.
Yes.
He's a great wrestler. He doesn't need somebody to really do anything for him, but like advocate for him.
Right.
And to me, this was the piece where it's like, what does Tony Nese need? He has everything. He should be moving up a card. But then this makes sense.
Yeah.
This makes sense. And Mark Sterling is great. Tony Nese, he looked at, and I was waiting for this. I'm like, oh, what match are we gonna get? Who are we gonna get? Who are we gonna get? He goes, I want Danhausen. But no, that's what he said. He goes, I want somebody who's been undefeated in AEW, and I want Danhausen. And I was like, I
mean, he's not wrong.
And then we go to the Hook and JD Drake match where Hook gets the win. And then Danhausen comes out, he wants to, Hookhausen. Like dude, I've never wanted a t-shirt in my whole life. So bad. I want the Hookhausen shirt. But he, he goes to shake his hand. He kind of like taps him. He's like, don't want to do that. So Hook throws him. Danhausen gets out of the ring. Just kind of like.
Then he had a bag of chips with a bow on it for Hook.
And I know the Cornettes of the world are going to be like, you're going to put somebody who's doing so well with a comedy wrestler. I actually had to watch some Danhausen matches this week because I'm actually not too familiar. I love his character, but I'm not too familiar with his. And he's actually really good in the ring.
Yep.
He's really good. So keep in mind, kind of like Orange Cassidy.
Yep.
This would be a great pairing.
Yeah, it's like it's the perfect analogy for perfect strangers.
It's the Rock and Sock connection.
It truly is. Yeah,
like
that's true. Yeah, a lot of people are comparing it to that. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, when it's not a matter of if, it's when this actually happens. Give them the tag team titles. Just do it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Especially since they're doing again the Orange Cassidy thing, where it's like he's the slow guy who's with the best friends. He's in a match. Oh, this is gonna be a score. What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's over.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if we get the same thing with Danhausen.
Yep.
My thought. It's funny. Years ago, before I started, because I was going to train at one point. Obviously, I was going to go to a school. My father asked me, "What's your character? What's your thoughts? What are you going off of?" He goes, "Cool. If you're talented in the ring, that's that's good. But the people that were remembered from the '80s were the Hulk Hogan's, were the Macho Mans, were the Pipers, were the DiBiase's. Those were the people they had a character. They were over the top. They were just." Danhausen is about to be a household name. I'm dead serious.
No, I agree. Mm-hmm.
I almost bought my nephew's micro brawls of him a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Because they would have been very nice Christmas gifts, very evil Christmas gifts.
Yes.
After that, we had the final women's tournament match. Yuka Sakazaki returned to AEW, taking on Rio. This is one of those things where even though AEW's been around for 3 years at this point, this is already feeling like this is one of the good old days kind of match. I remember all the Japanese women that had started in the company initially. It's like, oh man, there was so much excitement at that time, and they were in and they were wrestling. It's a lot of fun. They both look great. Rio obviously is moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's Britt Baker got the Joker. I forgot who Rio was wrestling.
I believe it's Ruby.
It's Ruby, yeah.
I believe.
And then Hikaru Shida is wrestling Red Velvet.
Yep.
Yeah. So I want more of this. I want I know they only have one women's match an episode, but we need to kind of bring back the kind of like they did. They had that women's special where it's like, hey, we're going to focus on the women's wrestling right now.
Yep.
I need more of that. I really need more of that. Last but not least, I'm gonna fuck up his name. Jay Lethal and Konosuke Takeshita. DDT Pro Wrestling wrestler making his Rampage debut. DDT is one of those. DDT to me has always been the Japanese comedy wrestling company.
Okay,
but when you do watch their matches, whether it be Kenny Omega wrestling the middle school girl or somebody wrestling the sex doll or there's a lot to be said about people doing that kind of stuff and making it look like it works.
Right.
So this match, again, what do we need to say about Jay Lethal? We haven't said. This kid, Konosuke, great.
Yeah,
great in the ring.
Real good.
Again, this week was how do I word this? This almost felt like the week of dead main events. The crowd was a little more lively here.
Yeah.
But they weren't if this was Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe.
Right. I think it's just because they're unfamiliar with either unfamiliar or not really interested, which is unfortunate. But I don't know.
Yeah, but this was good. I've seen a lot of things, the whole AEW, WWE, thing coming up recently. And one of the things that comes up, which I would absolutely agree that WWE does better than AEW, is the video packages.
Yes.
AEW needs to up their game in video packages. We need more people. We need to understand who these lesser known wrestlers. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. I am a psychopath and I'm going to look up any wrestler who wrestles and learn everything about them in 5 minutes. I've been like that since high school with video games, with music, with movies, with comic books, you name it. I've always been like that. Not everyone's like me. Some people honestly need to be spoon-fed this stuff. Not sound like a dick, but some people just don't care. You need to give them 5 minutes and spoon feed them.
Yep.
That's what they need to do. I thought it was great. Had the video package been there, they might have built this up a little better.
Right.
Like people would have been like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah. It's upsetting. Again, it was great. I definitely think this is one thing they definitely need to work on.
Yep.
Especially now we're getting towards the end of their, well, not the end, but we're pushing into the third year of their contract with TBS and TNT with Warner. If they want to keep their contract going, I think there's some things they need to up. This is one of those things. But great. I love this episode. This was a good episode.
Yeah, now we get to move into, next week's episode when we finally have some tournament action going on, and it's like I said, it's less than 3 weeks until Double or Nothing. So now I really truly expect the shows to really be really good going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Guys, less than 3 weeks. You heard it from Scott. Also, if you guys didn't get, if you FanFest, we're going to be there.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have to meet some of you guys. We want to see some of you guys. We want to meet you guys. We want to hang out. Scott and I, this is our vacation. Real talk for a moment. Hold a second. Real talk for a moment.
Glasses have come off, folks.
This is our vacation. For most of our vacation, it comes down to, what do we say? We're going to do the Grand Canyon. We're going to do some small things at Grand Canyon. There's a pinball museum. We're talking about doing the Neon Museum. Things that are like, fill up your time, but aren't like, oh, we're going to go to a show. And we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we're going to do go-karts. And no. We're going to do things that are relaxing and enjoy ourselves. I'm going to find the nicest cigar bar I can.
There you go.
And smoke while I'm out there.
Yep.
Maybe I should just go golfing. Let's pick up golfing while we're out there. But we want to make sure we get a chance to at least meet people who are going out there.
Absolutely.
So at some point, Scott, we're going to have to make a notice of it.
Yes,
and
sir.
we will get a little group together, get to meet people, get to meet the wrestling community, you
right.
guys, the fans.
We have to put some faces to the tweets that we've been, talking with for years
Beaks
now.
to the tweets. Yep. Beaks to the tweets. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, guys. We hope you are as well. And if you don't already do so, guys, please make sure you follow us on Twitter at Above the Ring. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Above the Ring. You can find myself as the SB Official and Scott as Scotty J Stream. Don't forget to follow Ship It Studios as well on all streaming platforms, all social media platforms. I believe they are Ship It Studios. Mm-hmm. We are on all streaming platforms. If there's one you cannot find us on, please let us know, and we will put ourselves on there. On your streaming platform and mobile device, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Tell people why Above the Ring and Ship It Studios is the podcast if you're choosing, and why they should listen to us as well. Guys, less than 3 weeks away. Thank you for listening as always. Don't forget to ship it. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.